Hello and welcome to Arcanum Uncovered. Today we are going to be doing a theory based on the Wind and Truth preview chapters, so spoilers for all the Stormlight archives, including any Wind and Truth preview chapters. From the Shallan Wind and Truth chapters, we get a little nugget. That day, the day Mishram had been captured, something deeper had happened. An event connecting humankind, honor, Spren, and the bonds. We also know that Baedo Mishram is hidden in the spiritual realm. But how did she get there? Well, these things are all directly linked to the splintering of Honor. Here's what I posit happened. Honor peered into the spiritual realm, into the future, and saw something. A way to cut connection from the Persendi. Honor tasked the Stonefather with creating Honor Spren. This happened because Honor knew he was going to be splintered soon. Shortly after requesting this of the Stormfather, but before the False Desolation, the Stormfather started creating those Spren, including Honor Spren. Baedo Mishram also started giving Singers forms of powers. The False Desolation then happened, during which Baedo Mishram was captured. She had access to more investiture than any other Unmade, and her power, unlike others, affected all of Roshar, not just pockets of it. The capturing of her, along with the investiture she provided, would cut the Singer's connection to Roshar, putting them into slave form, and dramatically impacting Roshar in a way that we have yet to fully realize. Her connection with the planet ended up not just affecting the Singers, though. It affected the bond with all Spren. This is where we get into Honor and how he was able to be splintered by Odium. You see, when a shard breaks their word, it weakens them. And Honor found himself in the exact same place Kaladin would find himself in over 2,000 years later, torn between two oaths. Capturing Baedo Mishram would be great for the humans. It would be terrible for the Spren. The gem heart containing Mishram had to be contained. It had to be kept away from the enemy. The only way that could happen, though, is if it was hidden in the spiritual realm. But this also begs the question, how was he able to go against this intent? Tanavast isn't a new vessel. He's been a vessel since the shattering of Adonalsium. How could he go against the intent of a shard like this? Well, what if he was manipulated? Not by Odium, but by love. If you've been following my channel for a while, you'll know that I think Cultivation has been manipulating vessels for a very long time. I won't go into detail here because it includes spoilers for books outside of the Stormlight archive. However, Cultivation and Honor have a long history. Their vessels, Corvellium and Tanavest, were lovers long before the shattering of Adonalsium. What if Cultivation was manipulating Honor through an oath that is seated much deeper than his time as a vessel? An oath that goes all the way back to his pre-shattering form. The oath he made to his partner. You see, I've been talking to you about things from Honor's perspective. But let's look at this from Cultivation's. Tanavast's oath to Corvellium made him an unsuitable vessel for Honor. There would always be that weakness. A new vessel had to be cultivated. So Cultivation made a plan. Odium had to be stopped. The residents of Roshar had been in constant war for thousands of years. At this point, it had been 3,700 years since the last desolation. Humanity was finally able to start rebuilding. She finally had a chance to cultivate them. But then, Mishram got involved and started giving the Singers forms of powers, causing the False Desolation. Cultivation saw a way her cultivating of the humans could continue, though. It would come at a cost. That cost would be her lover. Honor had already started to go mad. He had conflicting oaths, originally working with the Dawn Singers, and then, for reasons unknown to us, switching to the humans. He had started to question if this was the right decision, raving about the humans destroying Roshar like they had Ashen, and babbling about the Dawn Shards. So she gave him just the tug he needed. She suggested instructing the humans on capturing Mishram and hiding her in the spiritual realm. This would cause some Singers to lose their connection to Roshar and cause broken bonds to create Deadeyes in the Spren population. However, it would also end the war, potentially creating peace, and it would get rid of magical powers on both sides, protecting Roshar. This final act would be his undoing, though, and give Odium the opening he had been waiting for. Not only would this allow Cultivation to continue with her shard's intent of cultivating the humans and listeners, but it would also open up a new shard to potentially create a vessel for. Just like what she did with Taravangian, just like what she's planning to do with herself, and just like what she did on another planet. The Radiants were honorable, though. They had no intention of enslaving an entire species. They just wanted peace. A schism had already started to form due to the newfound knowledge that they were the invaders. Honor's ravings concerned them, though. He was talking about the Dawn Shard and that humans had already destroyed one planet with their power. This would have seemed implausible, but because of the 3,700 years of peace, although still rare, more and more Radiants were living long enough to potentially reach the fifth ideal. And with that came additional memories and sapience from their Spren. The 5th ideal Radiance had Spren that could make some sense of Honor's ravings and corroborate what was being said. If that wasn't enough, all of the Radiants just witnessed firsthand how dangerous they could be. Aside from the last Legion, which are now known as the Listeners, who converted to dual form and fled Odium, the entire race of Singers were converted to mindless slaves. Some Radiants had already begun abandoning their oaths, but this final terrible act was enough to begin the Recreance. Both humans and Spren recognized that they had gone too far, but couldn't bear the burden of releasing Mishram again. They realized that they had broken the fundamental oath of the Knights Radiant. They had put the destination ahead of the journey. A final Recreant act that was the final push needed to create an event known as the Recreance. Thank you all for stopping in. If you enjoyed this video, be sure to like and subscribe and join us next time so that we can all become a little more quantifiably invested.